Hey everybody, how's everybody doing today? Yes, we are back. Yeah, I had to take a little bit of a break. Spring update come out. There's a lot of new stuff to learn. So we've been on a little bit of a break from streaming while all of that was being sorted out. And it is wonderful. But we are here today as Shifting Spirit. And she is still part of the Miwok tribe. Finally learned how to say it. Miwok. So, we were just out enjoying the sunrise over the lake. And of course, Stand Strong in Moonlight is currently at the stables resting, so we are back with Runs with Wind. So I don't know, I haven't, like I said, I've been taking a break from shifting because of the major spring update. They have instance housing, they've changed a lot of stuff, they fixed a lot of stuff. And of course, as it happens with change, the only constant is change, and the one thing humans can't stand is change. So it's kind of like, you're always fighting. But we are going to go do what we always do when shifting first wakes up. We're going to go herbing, hunting, and we're going to be using her cheetah, her hawk, today to get extra food. I actually really enjoy hunting with her with a bow because it's very relaxing. It's nice, it's calm. There's not, like when I go hunting on Creeper, it's guns blazing, gunfire, bombs, sometimes dynamite. Okay, probably a lot of dynamite. Well, how else do you hunt buffalo? So we may run into people. Hopefully we do. Maybe there'll be other people out hunting about this time. And Creeper, she reads stories. Not every single night. If she read them every single night, she'd run out of stories. But she reads stories every night, starting at 7:00 p.m. Central Time. Of course, I do stream all that over on Twitch. And since Creeper is, I say Creeper because she's the one that I normally stream on Twitch, she has made affiliates. So she will actually, as promised, will start streaming parts of her life to the general public. I used to keep that very private because of Meta Warriors and things like that. And you're gonna have to worry about that anywhere. It's what they call stream sniping. Just for right now. I didn't want to just switch straight from YouTube to Twitch without, at least giving my YouTube followers a warning. I thought that'd been really rude. So you actually beat me to my big announcement. Thank you for ruining it. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, this will be the last live stream I do on YouTube. I'm going to be moving, shifting over to Twitch to join Creeper over there. And I do it that way to keep it straight in my head. I say it like that. It's not like they're actual people. Shifting, she's my little sister. No, no. But yeah, this is going to be her last stream. No. You're fine. But yeah, this will be her last stream on YouTube. So this is her going away stream. Yeah. I normally streamed. I do all of my mystery videos over here on YouTube and post them over here. It's where I first started streaming and posting was on YouTube. Oh yeah, absolutely. And I do know how to multi-stream, to multi-platforms. I also know how to miss my turn because I was talking. But no, I know how to multi-stream, and I may do that. or I just may move completely over to Twitch for all my live streaming and keep YouTube as my where I post all my videos, which I haven't done a mystery video in a while. Which I have one thanks to Blam 00 about an actual 3-location tie-in in Red Dead, which is good. I have found it's a little hard to do my story mode mystery videos because most of the mystery videos are from story mode, of course. It's a little hard to do those in DRB because of all the camps and stuff. It changes the landscape, but I think, yeah, that's what I have been. That's why I haven't done it. As far as the multi-stream, because I believe you're absolutely 100% correct. It's against the rules to stream live to 2 different platforms at the same time. So that's why I haven't done it, and that's why I've kept them separate. But yeah, it's a lot. When it comes to streaming live, Twitch is a lot easier on a system than YouTube is. Yeah, and I have done some of those. I just downloaded them and then reposted them on YouTube. I did that with the Telltale Heart to see how it would go, and it's pretty interesting. Oh, exactly. And that was all thanks to Creeper, my character Creeper, just reading her stories and got affiliate. So, that's why I wanted to do a Shifting Spirit stream today, to kind of get the word out there that all my live streams of my DRB characters will be switching over to Twitch, just because it's easier. There's a lot more, the DRB community is a lot more prevalent on Twitch than it is on YouTube. Oh yeah, I was super stoked. Super stoked. But Shifting's life is a lot different than Creeper's. That's why I enjoy playing her. You wouldn't believe how many people have met Shifting and didn't know it was me. Just because of her speech pattern, the way she talks, you can tell it's the same voice. I have a very distinct voice. There's no hiding this voice. I can't even change this voice if I wanted to because my vocal cords don't work like that anymore. So whether I'm mad, angry, happy, sad, no matter trying to do an accent or whatever, it's always this voice. So, and right now it's a little bit hoarse because I've been a little bit sick today, but it's okay. But this is, of course, is Little Shifting. She is my Lakota, Native American Lakota. She speaks very broken English, but the more she meets people and the more she interacts, the better her English is getting. I play her by a very strict set of rules that I've put in place. She cannot go anywhere or do anything that she has not been taught or shown by another person. Thank you. If anybody watched the, I always bring it the stream where she met, finally caught the Iron Horse at Emerald Ranch. She's fascinated with the Iron Horse. And she chases it every time when she did have a little camp there close to Emerald, and every time it come through the Iron Horse cave, she would chase it. And one night she caught it because the person driving stopped at Emerald. Oh, thank you. And it just so happened it was Dr. Robotnik that was driving the train that night, and Granny Tick and two of her grandsons were on there. So they paid for her train ride. She was scared. I mean, she was really scared, especially Granny Tick at first, because Granny Tick is just such a bundle of energy, and she's not sure about the settlers still. So Granny paid for her train ticket, took her on the train, and stayed with her and kept her calm the entire trip, which I thought was so sweet. Yeah, the Iron Horse, the train. It was originally, it was called the Iron Horse. Well, they get to Saint Denis, a place she's never been before, and she's deathly afraid of cities. She doesn't understand why people would live that way. Dr. Robotnik took pity on her and told her, said, stay right here on this park bench and I'll go put my train up and come get you and take you back home. He forgot about her. 45 minutes later, he was reminded by people that he had left a little native girl alone in Saint Denis. So when he gets back to Saint Denis, she's still sitting on the park bench where he told her to sit, singing Native American lullabies to stay calm. So Dr. Robotnik got wrung out for that really bad by people, but not by shifting. She just was doing what she was told. And so he gets a train out, takes her all the way back to Emerald, and in the process teaches her her first cuss word, because he told her, you can hold on to that S handle right there. She kept asking what, SHIT meant. So now he's involved in a conversation with an innocent mind of explaining what SHIT means and everything. So she finally lets him off the hook. I mean, it was like a 20-minute talk and him beating around the bush. So she finally lets him off the hook and goes, oh, you mean poop handle? Hey, Raisin Cat. Yep, doing good. So she finally lets him off the hook. And the next day, she had to go into Valentine. Into Valentine. And she doesn't understand that SHIT is a bad word. She just thought, because he described it as a descriptive word. So she's using it to describe everything in Valentine. So finally somebody took pity on her and said, why do you keep saying that word? And she explained, short version, that Dr. Robotnik had taught her that it was a descriptive word. And they're like, that's a bad word. And they very politely and very neatly explained what cuss words were and how they were meant to be, degrading and hurtful and harmful. So she doesn't use it anymore. But it was just funny walking through Valentine's, and like one person said, well, hey, how are you doing? What kind of day are you having? I'm having an SHIT day. Okay, is everything all right? So everything I do just seems to turn to SHIT. I mean, every sentence had that word in it, because she didn't know no better. And then she wound up getting beat up and robbed in the gun store the day after that. So that's why she doesn't go to Valentine no more. So she's a fun little character to play. She doesn't break the law. She's not an outlaw. She was the daughter of a Native American medicine man in her tribe, was betrothed to the son of the chief in her tribe, refused to marry him, and was banished from her tribe. Still had her wedding clothes on. That's how close it came. She had her wedding clothes, her bow, and a day's worth of food, and a knife. That was it. She was put into a canoe, sent down the river, and wound up coming ashore in Blackwater. And that's how her story started. Of course, there's a lot more to it than that, but that's the gist of it. So she's a herbalist. Her very first day, she basically gets out of the canoe, not hungry, but close to it. She goes running out of Blackwater because she's never seen a city before. And it just so happened, and it was luck, this is pure luck, somebody was trying to catch and tame some wild horses. This horse, Runs with Wind, was one of those horses that got spooked and took off running. The horse didn't register that Shifting was standing there, so it literally ran right up to her. She hops on it, tames it, and becomes Runs with Wind. So she feels she does not own the horse. She's not the horse's master. They are friends. This is her best friend. And that's how she feels about all the animals. Is she has a hawk. Her and the hawk have a mutual agreement. She will, you know, skin, prepare whatever food the hawk brings, and they share it. So she's very much about being a free spirit, and being on the journey that she's on. She calls it her spirit journey. Of course, she was banished from her tribe, so she didn't have a tribe, which is, if according to the lore that I'm using for her, if you're banished from your tribe, you are no longer, you're not even nothing. You are worse than nothing. So they take away, you have no heritage, you have no genealogy, you have no family, you have no ties, nothing. You're worse than nothing. So she literally came from past nothing. She had to get to be nothing just to make an advancement, which she has. So that's where she started from. And she wound up becoming a very proficient hunter, a very proficient herbalist. She had a camp of her own. She got accepted into the Miwok tribe. Miwok tribe, sorry, Miwok. And is now, thinking about maybe becoming like a herbalist, or not a herbalist, but a medicine woman. Not a shaman. She doesn't want it. She doesn't have aspirations of grandeur. She just wants to be something. And which she has achieved that. And when she hunts, like she doesn't go out and try to kill the entire herd. She'll only take one or two out of a herd, and that's more than enough for her. And because of that mentality, she's always got more food than she needs. She's got more berry juice than she needs. And I forgot to equip arrows. And yes, she does have fun sometimes playing with the buffaloes. And yes, you can kill a buffalo with a knife. It is not easy by no means, but she has done it. She also, when she tames horses, she doesn't like to, yeah, I'm having way too much fun doing this. She doesn't ride up with a lasso, she sneaks up on them. Yeah, it's getting weak now. It's starting to get slow. I could probably chase it on foot, but I'm having way too much fun doing this. There we go. So yeah, you can, if you want, if you're bored enough, you can kick a buffalo to death. Okay, but anyway, so yeah, that's her whole little thing. It's like she still has never been to she's never been past McFarland Ranch, so she doesn't know any of that exists out there. Um, she's never been to Van Horn or Annisburg, and her favorite place, of course, is Emerald Ranch because it reminds her of her homeland. Because she was a Plains Indian, and of course, Emerald, this whole area is patterned after the Great Plains. So she feels at home here. And before I go any further, I need to unpack some of these arrows. Yeah, she is a lot of fun to play. She has met a few people. Jonathan Cooper, she sold him berries. She met Jebediah Miller, the goat from the family. She's met him, sold him berries, was very uneasy around him. But even if she's uneasy around somebody, she's still going to be polite and nice because that's her mentality. She, as far as age-wise, she's only 19 years old. So she's still young. She's got a lot of knowledge, because her father was the medicine man of the tribe. Her mother, of course, was also involved in that. So there is a lot of knowledge, but she doesn't have wisdom. And there's a huge difference. People get those two confused all the time. Knowledge is stuff you can learn. Wisdom is the experience to use it. So wisdom comes with experience, with age. So a lot of times she's learning the experience now, kind of forcibly having to learn it. If she had been still in her tribe, then the tribe would have helped, because tribes help each other. They share knowledge. They share experience. They teach each other. Well, she doesn't have that. She just has the knowledge that her parents taught her and what she'd learned up to that point. So she knew enough about hunting and herbalism and stuff like that to survive, and that's what gave her a leg up, so to speak. But because she's so young, she's still naive. The experience, I'm forcibly having to do this, by the way, is the experience is what she's learning from other people she meets. So even though she's got the knowledge, she doesn't know what to do with it until somebody shows her or tells her. And because she didn't know any English until she came to New Dakota, so she speaks she speaks broken English now because people have been working with her and teaching her. But she does use a lot of Lakota sometimes, especially when it comes to animals. For some reason, and this developed without me even thinking about it, she has a love for animals. And so she gets excited when she sees animals, and she will call them by their Lakota names a lot. And she teaches people that aspect of her language so that when she says something, people around that she's met will understand when she's talking about, of course, the most common one is Tatanka, which means buffalo. A lot of people know that word. So when they hear it, they automatically think she's talking about the legendary buffalo that's out there at Blackwater. And she's not. Tatanka actually means buffalo. So her and Hex Kane had a really good conversation. Because she asked Hex Kane, she met him, and asked him if he'd seen any Tatanka. So he automatically assumed the legendary that was just right there by his camp, and he starts explaining, oh, it comes out here, it comes out there. Just so happened a herd of buffalo woke up, and she's like, no, Tatanka, and was pointing, he goes, yeah, the buffalo. She goes, Tatanka. And so he finally figured out that Tatanka meant buffalo, not the legendary. So that was fun. She loves to tell people about her thika, which means hawk, which I also forgot to get out so that it can be hunting. Oh, thank you, thank you. It's like with any of my characters, if they're awake and someone meets them or I'm streaming with them, because time is precious. It's the only thing that you get for free, but once you spend it, you can't get it back. So it's actually spelled with an E. It's not. It's not a ticka. It's a thicka. Or actually, it's a chitta. Sorry, I mispronouncing my words today. Sorry. Chitta for hawk. Yeah, unfortunately, I actually do have a lisp in real life, and I refuse to get rid of it. I am way too old to learn how to talk again. Ever since I've had radiation, chemo, and all that stuff, my speech is messed up, and I don't care. I still have a voice, and that's all that matters. But yeah, it's chitta. Yeah, chitta means hawk, and she will get excited, and when she talks about an animal, it's just natural for her to say the Lakota name because that's what she's always done. And oh, thank you, thank you. And so then she's learned to catch herself when she does it. Oh, thank you. But she'll catch herself and she'll because the way her speech pattern is me shifting spirit, me have cheetah, sorry, what's this word, hawk, me have hawk. So that's the way she talks, and she'll always have that type of speech. It'll just make it a little bit clearer, and she won't make as many mistakes. And of course, this is now. What's funny? Ooh, snake. What's funny is the bird's name is Pet, but she doesn't understand the name because it wasn't a name that came. It was somebody, a nice couple of people, befriended her and gave her the hawk because she had lost her falcon. Her tribe, when she was banished, forcibly took her falcon away. Oh yeah, that's herbalism. Is everything shows up yellow, and I actually like that aspect of it because at my age that is so clear to see. Some people don't like it because they say it's immersion breaking, and I get that. I know in online mode, herbs you have to use eagle eye and they'll pulse white like regular and then bright white and then back to regular, just back and forth. And that's okay. This I like better. But yeah, the hawks. Anyway, the couple because her falcon was forcibly taken away. The couple, she had told her story to that couple of people. Now she calls them a couple, but it's a couple of people. They're not together in any shape, form, or fashion. But because of her broken English, she leaves words out. So when she says, instead of saying, me see couple people, no, she just, me see couple. And so everybody thinks she's talking about, two people that are together, and they're not, and it's wonderful. But they gave her a fully trained hawk named Peg. But she can't pronounce it. So she calls it Peked. This hawk name is Peked instead of Peg. So it's funny. Yeah, exactly. I mean, as far as the yellow glow, if they, of course, there is a lot of coding that's involved in things like this, and coming from the background I come from, I know the pain they go through trying to code all that. But if they, like, just in the display settings or something, or even if it had to be in the menu, just a low, medium, or high setting. That would be more than enough, probably. But also, the way I look at it is, if you want to play a herbalist, uh, and you go, because that's a little herb kit, and you use it, you can turn it off and on right there. Activate that feature right there, turns it on and off. So, if you didn't want it, you just don't turn it on. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It would be very difficult. Or even if they just could find the graphic for it and just cut it in half, maybe. But then again, also herbalists get, we can make talismans, the tea bags, all the elixirs, the bars of soap, and all the Native American stuff. That's why she's a herbalist, for that reason. Believe it or not, for that reason right there. Yeah, I need to drink. Oh, yeah, yeah, you can craft right from this menu. Okay. I think I've got enough time here to skin this. Yep, the herbalism is off and on. So, I could turn it off and have to figure out where all these herbs are. Um, that's not why, if I'm going to have a feature, I'm going to use it. But yes, I need to drink. Of course, I did have a ton of stuff in my bag, and of course, I donated all that to the Miwok tribe, because she did get accepted here recently into the Miwok tribe. So, for her story progression, she went from being banished from her original tribe, basically left to die, is pretty much what it is. I wouldn't even say left to die. They put her in a canoe and deleted her from memory. So at that point, it didn't matter what happened to her. They wouldn't have cared. If she was to go back and try to visit her old tribe, they wouldn't even talk to her. They would not even acknowledge she existed. Yeah, some of them. Now, some people can still make them, I think, at a campfire or deluxe fire, but there's some things that are herbalist specific. And another snake. But see, if you're wanting to play the most casual play style you possibly can and still be getting benefits, I mean, herbalist for me anyway. Herbalist for the berries and the herbs, a hunting bird for meat, and you literally just walk around. I mean, for some people, it could be very boring because it's not active, but if you're just wanting something to do casually, the only thing more casual, I think, would be farming, probably, but I don't know how the meat situation, like getting food and stuff. If you had a scavenger bird and you were farming by a water source, you would have food and water. But this actually, I like doing it this way because it does put me out and about. Because anytime shooting's on, she's usually found around this spot. And of course, now I do. A lot of people don't know, but I actually have a lot of trouble with my hands. I have arthritis, tendonitis, and carpal tunnel, and so that's why a creeper is such a bad shot. It's not me doing it on purpose. I really am a bad shot. Oh, there it is. Exactly, exactly. And by being out here, I can. I don't know if I can hit it from this far away, but because I'm not using guns, because Shifting refuses to use guns because she don't understand them. Okay, she only got one of them. But with a bow, you can actually sneak up really close. Because horses, of course, scares animals. Gunshot scares animals. Uh, Bows do not. And if you crouch down, you can. Shifting can actually sneak up to horses, get right beside them, and then jump on them and tame them without scaring them. Because it's all about, noise. It makes. I mean, makes perfect sense. And since she's not worried about killing everything she finds, only one or two out of a herd, she always has more than enough than she needs. Okay, where is it? There it is. Okay, so that was a sunglow boa that my bird brought back, and those only live in Guarma. So that hummingbird flew all the way to Guarma, got a snake, and flew all the way back like a supersonic. That's hilarious. Somebody still got their fish traps out here. And of course, Shifting would never even go near those fish traps because they're not hers. So to even touch them to her would be, like stealing, and she's a law abiding. Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that bird definitely was doing some Gorma water. And the funniest thing, though, for me, because I had never RP'd before I came to New Dakota. Uh, Last time I role played anything was Vampire the Masquerade back in college, which is a lot of years ago. So, um, it was actually Perno Bernadetto that got me to come over here because of my mystery videos. And at the time that I was doing them, I was streaming on YouTube a lot, like Fallout 76. I was doing art build tutorials because I love building. And of course, Red Dead Online. And Perno finally talked me into coming over here. And I was like, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to do that or not. I mean, he's like, well, at least give it a try. I said, all right. So I came over here and I brought Ainurauco with me, who is the character I use in all of my mystery videos. That's her job. She's a private investigator of the strange and mysterious, and started White Hair Investigation. So I brought her over, and there wasn't much she could do because I'd only ever used her in videos. She didn't have a backstory or anything. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, of course, Perno could play a little bit more at that time. He's got a lot of. That's a muskrat. We're gonna go kick it after this. Uh, but he no, you don't. Come here. Oh no, 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 you little ankle biter. Come here. Where are you? Why can I not get you? Yeah, get up on the land so I can get to you. Yeah, that's what I thought. I hate them things. Yeah. Well, Ani is because I do use her in my videos and the mystery series that I'm trying to do. So she doesn't get out in the public eye a lot. And yeah, that was her. Yep, she's the one that shot who was it, Kyle? Yeah, Kyle the coyote. Yeah, that was her. That was the first time I actually ever met Hex. Also, was with Ani, and yeah, and she, her originally the story was going to be that I had written out. I had about eight pages of story written out. Um, was that Ainurauco, and that's actually how you say my name. It's her name too. Is Ainurauco, um, and everybody just calls her Ani. Um, her and Creeper were going to be twin sisters, and awesome. Oh, that is so epic. Well, I'm glad Ani at least gave the skin back so y'all could stuff it. Uh, but her and Creeper were going to be twin sisters, and Ani was the favored one, and Creeper was going to be the one that thought she was being neglected because she only wanted to see her side of everything. And it wasn't until later that that Creeper noticed that every time someone invited Ani somewhere, if Creeper couldn't go, she wouldn't go. And she realized that the whole time her jealousy um, had blinded her to the fact that Ani gave up half of her life so that her sister could have one. But unfortunately, with the rule that all that happened, all that was fixing to come out, Creeper done started stalking Shooter, um, and Shooter done broke Ani's heart, and so Creeper was stalking Shooter she was going to go after him for breaking Ani's heart, and then they did the rule change, so that whole storyline had to be scrapped, because characters are not supposed to be related or know about each other directly. They can know about each other by other people telling them about it. So it turned into Creeper and Ani just happened to look alike. And people kept mistaking Creeper for Ani. And so that's where and then those two stories kind of just drifted apart. There's still remnants of them in county because it did happen, but I'm not pursuing it. Yeah, and it was actually because of Shooter McGavin breaking Ani's poor little heart that Ani's story got rewritten. Are you gonna drop it? Thank you. Why did I pick up the rabbit? Hey, look, Ma, I got a white hair. But well, it's okay. It's okay because I actually learned a lot because of the rule change. No supernatural allowed. Uh, your characters cannot be related to each other, and whatever Shifting knows, Creeper can't know, and Ani can't know, and my fourth character can't know. And that actually was a learning experience for me I'm still a novice RPer. But because of that, it's how to adapt without getting attached because they're characters that you play. Now, when I'm RPing, yeah, I'm gonna be involved in that RP scenario, but as soon as it's over, whatever happened in that doesn't affect me in the real world. Some people get so attached or they let what happens in game affect them outside of the game. And that just doesn't make sense to me personally. So, like the night that when Shooter broke Ani's heart, and she went through the all the stages of grief, which a breakup is grief. A lot of people don't understand that, but you go through a grieving process whenever you break up with somebody. So for that moment, I let myself into the character, and I went through all those stages in that one balloon ride. That's why Ani kept changing, because the stages of grief, I had to speed it up for the balloon ride, so she went through all of them before we landed in Blackwater. And that was so much fun. I didn't realize that was my first time ever doing drama RP. And of course, me and T Man talked before, because I had never done it. And he asked me if I was okay with it. I thought, well, I won't know until I try. I said, but uh, we had a certain thing set up that if it started going badly, all he had to do was say a certain phrase, and I knew, hey, let's bring it the other direction or something, to make sure that I was learning and not overdoing, so to speak. And I had so much fun. I did not realize that, I think you see in movies where actors are up there portraying a character and you get attached to that character and they go through something bad and you feel for that character. But then when the movie's over, you're like, man, that was a great movie. And oh yeah, and that's what I love about the RP aspect. Is that a bunch of ducks? That is a bunch of ducks. We're gonna get us a duck. But that's what I love, though, is during that particular month. But as soon as that scene is over, you breathe, you reset, and you go to the next scene. But yeah, and then I've done that, and then I've done the but that was with Ani, but now she doesn't come out too much, because after that whole scenario, her and Perno are now together, and Perno has a lot of real world things going on, and it worked out perfect. Because Ani, being a private investigator, is usually gone a lot. So with him being gone a lot to New York, and Ani off doing her investigations, well, then those two being together worked out perfectly. Oh, me, sorry, Pickhead, you hunt, me find Barry. So yeah, that's shifting. And what funny with shifting is I can usually tell within the first 5 seconds of meeting somebody if they're going to be okay with shifting or not, because of the way she talks. I've met people that, with her broken English and misunderstanding of the language, the settler language, because she has to say settler. She used to say white man, and Chief Greyhawk told her she can't say that no more. She has to say settler, so she says settler. But they'll meet her. Oh, well, right now she's actually investigating a connection between a novel, a real world novel, and a location in West Elizabeth. She just, because the last thing she investigated was the 9-part series on the Strange Man and the theories as to who the Strange Man might be. Now, one thing Ani is very careful about doing. Oh yeah. But one of the things Anu is careful about doing in her investigations is never saying this is the definite answer. Because it's not. It's just I do my mysteries from a theological, real world logical standpoint, as opposed to investigating them within the actual game. I find perfect example is the page of the Farmer's Almanac on the wall of the Strange Man's cabin. Is that it says has an issue number and has the actual article. I actually own the Farmer's Almanac that's from, because my great grandparents collected them, and that just passed down through the family. Okay, so the game is set in 1899. The online is 1898, but the story mode and DRB is 1899. That page from the Farmer's Almanac is from 1929, so it's from 30 years in the future. Yeah. Ani investigates RDR2 story mode, because it would be so hard to do investigations in DRB, but the way that I do them, because I use real world knowledge to verify or unverify the information or to prove or disprove it. So in the DRB, you can't do that because the quote real world doesn't exist. So that would I don't want to break the DRB's immersion. But yeah, that's a perfect example. Yeah. There's a lot of things in RDR2 story mode that are not from 1899. They're from the future. And a lot of, like the newspapers, some of the stuff in the Strange Man's Cabin is from the future. And the paintings in the Strange Man's Cabin, yeah. Well, Ani exists in the DRB, but her investigations are still from story mode. That's why she doesn't come out much in the DRB. She does role play with Perno and some of those people, but it's a very specific moment. And a lot of that is for a separate thing that I'm working on. But the mystery videos are all story mode. There is a mini series. Yeah. She is working. I am using her to work on a mini series actually for the DRB, where she's investigating a serial killer from Saint Denis. But she's going to start. Oh yeah. Either way, the mystery videos, are all story mode, official, and then her RP, the roleplay I do is in DRB, and the mini series is going to be DRB. And it's an idea I've tossed around for a long time that I wanted to do that I couldn't do in, official, because it's so hard to roleplay or to plan stuff out in official, like online mode, because of all the griefers. And people just don't want to RP in official because they're there to play the game. Makes perfect sense. But here in the DRB, I can actually arrange stuff like that. And some of it's scripted, some of it's just organic. But she's going to start in Blackwater and travel slowly, travel towards Saint Denis to go work on the serial killer case, and in doing so be solving other little mysteries. And see, originally, and I can say this without ruining anything, originally, can you guess who the serial killer in Saint Denis was going to be? Yeah. Yeah, the serial killer in Saint Denis was going to end up being none other than Creeper, her twin sister. Yep, exactly. It was going to be Creeper, and Ani was then going to be faced. No, it was going to be Creeper. And the whole time that she's doing all these other little investigations, well, the whole time she was doing all these other little, she was doing these other little investigations. There there was going to be hints as to who it was. But now, because of the rule change, that's me and Perno worked out something that's going to be even crazier. And if we can get all those scenes and everything scripted out, yeah, it was a lot better than what I'd originally planned. But that's the way it is. The first time you come up with an idea, it goes through revisions, and eventually you come up with something that's better than what you originally thought. Yeah, exactly. And originally in the story, Creeper knew all about Ani, knew everything about Ani, and was constantly watching her. Ani had no clue her sister was even anywhere around. She thought her sister was dead. And so the ending would have been very, very good, because Ani would have never seen her sister until the very end. But that got nixed. So we're like, okay, so what can we do that would be even better? And we came up with a very good, I would say a very, very interesting ending. And luckily, for me, Perno doesn't have to be present for a lot of the stories, so he gets to make guest appearances, because he's in New York a lot. He's a gun salesman. That just works out perfectly. That's somebody doing a delivery. They're in a hurry. But yeah. And then, of course, I have my fourth character, who nobody's ever met that they know of. And I just use her mostly as, she's going to be used mostly as, so you want to be an outlaw. And her whole story is going to be more or less a tutorial of starting literally from nothing to trying to become a big notorious outlaw of some kind. Oh yeah. That's one thing I learned, especially from owning my own business for so many years. Just because one way doesn't work doesn't mean it can't be done. It just means you've got to think of another way. Some people get so hung up on this has to go exactly this way. Well, that takes all the organic parts out of it, and it takes a lot of the fun out of it for me personally, because sometimes the best way to handle a situation is let something happen, respond to that. Let something else happen, respond to that. Don't think it has to be linear. Because when you start letting things go organic, you never know what could happen. It may be good, it may be bad, it may be 10 times better than you ever thought it could be. That's why Creeper is so much fun for me to play. Because I know people have noticed that her personality changes like all the time. And she does some of the stupidest things at the most inconvenient moments. Her personality is controlled by 100-sided dice. I built an entire Excel spreadsheet, everything, and whenever a response of some kind is needed, I roll the dice. Whatever it lands on is what she's fixing to do. And it's the way I've got it set up is good, neutral, bad. So there's 33 good things, 33 neutral things, and 34 bad things. And they're in that order. So once people have learned that I do that, they can figure out what my dice roll was on each response. Because if it's something good, it was a low roll. If it's something neutral, kind of, that means it was a mid kind of roll. And if it's something just completely chaotic, that's starting to get into the bad. Luckily, I've never rolled 100, because the 100 response is the one I dread doing, because she just completely loses her mind and just starts killing everybody. She literally goes insane. That's if it ever rolls 100. Oh, I have actually thought about, because now I'm going to be streaming her live. So every once in a while, I want to incorporate that dice roll into the stream so that people can see that the fact that she acts the way she does is completely out of my hands. And it's hilarious. Mumbles knows that I do it. MJ knows. A lot of people know that I do it. And it's like if you was watching Mumble's stream last night when we met with the Four Kings. Whenever they said, if you're hungry, you can go in the kitchen. And she was making such a big fuss over all the candies, describing it. She kept rolling, act like a kid, and so it's like one of her things is act like a kid in a candy store. So, and that's what she rolled right as she saw the candy. That's what I rolled for her. How she would respond, and she just went nuts. One of them is make a lewd joke. Try to calm a situation with logical answers. Try to calm a situation with illogical answers. Make a statement about something that has nothing to do with the conversation. That's the kind of stuff that's in there. And so whenever people meet Creeper, that's why she acts the way she does, is because I'm doing the dice rolls. Now, there are a few occasions where I'll roll something, like the situation may be a really, the meeting with the Four Kings. There is a response in there, draw guns and threaten. Well, if I had rolled that during that meeting, I would have chosen to not do that. I'm not going to do stuff that's going to affect other people in a negative way. Because that was a very, very important meeting. And Creeper was asked to be there to be the voice of reason. So I can't in good faith ruin an RP scenario just because of a dice roll. So sometimes I have to go, let's roll again. That because I look at that as I was invited into an RP scenario. It wasn't my scenario. So to do something of that nature would have ruined it. Exactly. It would have ruined the scenario for everybody, and I would not be invited back into scenarios at that point. And that meeting really needed to go well anyway. But now the lewd remarks, the weird jokes, all that's just part of Creeper. And the only difference between Ani and Creeper, because they're both based off of my personality, a lot of the things that's wrong with Creeper, or a lot of things she suffers from, I suffer from. That's why it's so easy to play. And Ani suffers from a lot of it also. It's just one's on the lighter side and one's on the darker side. And yes, there are 15 raspberry bushes around Emerald Ranch. Considering she gets, let's just say if she got 10 on every one of them, she does it. She gets between 6 and 10. But if you got 10 at every bush, that's 150 red raspberries. And the whole time your bird's hunting, or you can be hunting while you're doing it and just walking around. And of course, a lot of people don't find that fun. That's absolutely fine. Well, so far the hardest thing that I've noticed about RPing though, regardless of which character I'm on, is being able to read the situation. Because you don't want to over RP a scenario, or like draw it out too much. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, if you ever see this little girl, do not hesitate to say hello. Remember, she is skittish. Um, she is a little naive. That is a frog. Um, she speaks to everybody because she has, thanks to meeting people, she has learned about the settlers' economy and the settlers' paper. That's what she calls money. She doesn't understand the concept of money because once once you have it, you can't do anything with it. It serves no purpose. Uh, far as she's concerned, it would be the settlers' paper would be used to start a fire. That's how much money means to her. But she has learned that in order to do certain government stuff, she has to have it. So she just puts it in the bank and forgets about it. Um, she would a lot rather barter, trade stuff for stuff, because that's what she believes in. If she has something that has a purpose, and you have something that has a purpose, then trade. Uh, and she actually did that. The first time she ever got settler paper, she used it to start her deluxe cooking fire. It didn't even bother her because it meant nothing to her. But then she met one of the other natives who she had berries and they had cotton, or no, they had wool. And she wanted some wool and they wanted some berries. So they traded. And as far as was concerned, and they were concerned, they even said that was a good trade because they're like, "Well, will you sell them?" She told them didn't want to sell. Did they have something to trade? So they traded, and that's her way of doing business. I know there's a bush out here. Luckily, though, for her, she hasn't had to go up anywhere near snow yet. Uh, it's actually funny; she's never seen snow, so she doesn't even know what snow is, which is going to be completely hilarious. I just gotta, and I never plan how I'm gonna react or how she's gonna go about things. I just let, however I'm feeling at that exact moment, is how she reacts to new things. She almost got arrested one day, chasing the iron horse. That was funny because she saw the iron horse. She had a camp up. If you follow the train tracks all the way till they get to the mountain over there, that little hill, that tunnel, she called it the Iron Horse Cave because it would go in there and not come out. So she thought the Iron Horse was going in there to sleep until the day she went over the mountain. She'd never been over that hill, and she saw the black sticky water. So she figured out that the Iron Horse was going into its cave so that it could get food because it was hungry. That was how she perceived that situation. The black sticky water must be the water for the Iron Horse. I mean, since then she's been told what that is and that the Iron Horse eats black rocks because she still doesn't understand what coal is. Uh, but the Iron Horse eats black rocks, and so, uh, but that little tunnel, there's a big tree just to the left of it, and that tree became sacred to her, so that's where her little camp was, literally hidden in the bushes under the tree. No one ever saw it. No one ever knew her camp was there except at night when her fire would be burning. But she would tell people where her camp was, and she could stand at her camp and watch people try to find it. It was hilarious. And of course, if she ever leaves the Maui Miwok tribe, she'll probably go back there because that's a really, really good spot. But yeah, the fun part about playing her is the moment I wake her up, I have to forget everything I know about the game, uh, forget everything I know about the real world, and look at it from a childlike innocence. All right. Yeah, you have to look at it from a childlike innocence. Um, how would someone that has never seen something like this describe it? Oh, she got another squirrel. I always have to have a squirrel in her backpack. She has a pet squirrel. She actually has a lot of pet squirrels. And so yeah, so that makes it completely fun playing her. Speaking of which, let's take a look and see how much we've gathered so far. One black squirrel. Ooh, a rat. A red squirrel. Lots of hides. And how are we looking on berries? 177 raspberries, 284 milkweed, tobacco, that ginseng we got out of the camp. So yeah, she's not doing too bad. And of course, if we start, I mean, we're at 205 pounds. I mean, I could put her backpack on, it's not going to help that much. Yeah, it's only 140, so there ain't no sense in wearing it. Another boa. Yeah, and unfortunately, since we are running the hunting bird, letting her cheetah do some hunting today, there's no sense in being on a horse, uh, because you would outrun the drop point for the bird. So by the time the bird actually landed, whatever it was carrying would be like 20 feet behind you, and you have to go find it. So you'd literally be getting on and off the horse all the time. That's why we're walking instead of riding the horse. And there was a camp right here a few days ago. They must have already moved camp. That was a Wolfie's camp. Yeah, but I think there's another one this way. Should be. It's either right there on that plane or right there. There it is. Another squirrel. I was wondering if he was going to come out of the ground or not. Now, I know that if you're around water, uh, the birds will bring back fish. And Creeper is training up a hawk of her own. And she was in Blackwater, and it brought a whole bunch of crabs. So she goes to her house that she shares with Notes, because that's where they live. Uh, just put a random crate down somewhere and filled it up with all these crabs. And told Notes not to open that case. And she kept calling it a case. So Notes finally gets a big curious and opens it up and basically yells at Creeper for having a bunch of crabs in the house. She goes, "Hey, you're the one that opened a case of crabs. You've got them now." So yeah, that was kind of. Creeper got in so much trouble for that. Now, of course, all the milkweed that she's gathering, that's going to go to the tribe. Oh, finally, something big. A muskrat. See, I know there's one. I know there's some kind of plant. I think it's mint, or maybe Indian tobacco, right in the middle of this camp. So hopefully they're not here, or if they are, I can ask politely if I can go into their camp and gather that herb. We'll have to wait and see. Han? Hello? Han? I could have swore there was a herb in their camp. I guess not. Yeah, and it's funny because in Lakota language, um, there's no like male and female pronouns. Um, they actually have male and or masculine and feminine language. So for a Lakota male, how HAO is how they say hello. For the females, it's Han, HAN. That's the female version of hello. But people often hear shifting saying Han and they think it's a name. So I've had to actually adjust the way she greets people so that they know that she's not asking, or is your name Han? She's actually saying Han as in hello. Because that caused so much confusion when I first started playing her. And that's a coyote. Yeah, we have to get Runs with Wind to come out here in a minute. I am way overweight. And I don't know if anyone else in the DRB has noticed, but after the spring update, your food and water actually go faster. And I've noticed, I think it has something to do with weight. So the more you have, the heavier you are, the faster your food and water gets used up, which makes sense. That was a Labrador Retriever. So I killed a dog, and instead I thought it was a coyote. So we're going to do the nice thing and take it right over here and bury it, so to speak. And we're just going to do that. And then walk away. So yeah, may have accidentally killed a dog. Oops. I thought it was a coyote. And we're going to pick up our frog. So yeah, because I've noticed I've used a lot of food and water, but I've been overweight a lot. So we're going to transfer all this over to Runs with Wind and to the saddlebags. let's see here. Okay, I don't need that. That's a lot. But we have to keep our squirrel in our pocket. Hey, Rocket. Aw, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I'm glad everybody's getting into the stream. That way everybody knows the change that's coming. And that is all of my streaming for my characters is going to be moved over to Twitch. Just because Twitch is I'll still be doing all my Red Dead videos here on YouTube. Definitely going to keep them up. I just got to get all of the ones I've got in the works finished. But all my streaming will be switched over to there because it's a lot less intensive. And that way all my characters' stories are in one place and not scattered in 2 different places. Definitely don't need that on me. Why do I have farm animal feed? I don't have farm animals. But yes, as a Native American, these are all medicinal. Yeah, that's what she's gonna say. So many snakes. And frogs. How much junk did I have on her? And we have to keep our squirrels. Gotta have our pet squirrels. Because that's nutters, butters, and sputters. Okay, well, you can be overweight right now. Because you're just gonna go play anyway. But she's definitely got a lot of meat and stuff stacked up for the day. A lot of berries. And it's like I tell her, it's like we've all been, a bunch of us been talking. If you spend an hour to 2 hours a day, that's it, nothing more, just an hour or two, harvesting, doing whatever your trade is, then you'll make more than enough to survive. And if you're hunting and you're getting the skins and the meat, and then cooking up the meat, then you take the skins and cure them and then sell them. I mean, you do that once a day for an hour, 2 hours, whatever. You'll eventually, as long as you're not going on spending sprees, hey Gibson, you'll have more than enough money, food, everything to do whatever you want to do. And of course, little shifting today is hunting, herbing, and hawking. The 3 H's. Herbing, hunting, and hawking. You brought me a rat? Why in the world would you bring me a rat? Can't do anything with a rat. I mean, I could leave it in somebody else's pocket maybe and scare them, but... Oh, exactly. That's one reason why I love streaming shifting. Because her whole original premises, yeah, it's a Triple H day. Yep. Her whole thing is she's not worried about having anything. She's worried about is food, clothing, and shelter. That's it. Basically survival. Everything else is built off of that. Joining the Miwok tribe. That came way later on. See, a settler bucks for one. But why settler want buck? Do we not eat buck? That would be her whole reasoning right there. Because she actually met someone that used the word buck for dollar, and they're like, "I'll give you $2 for a berry," and she was like, "Where's buck?" And they're like, "Oh, I had that in my pocket." Me no understand how get buck in pocket with antlers. So yeah, they had to explain that buck meant dollar because she'd never heard it before. Me think settler is people. Never seen settler buck. They live in plains. Yeah, because to her, buck means male deer. So when you no, until they explained it, she didn't know that buck meant dollar. Oh yeah, me trade settler paper at gun shop. Get more arrows. Me no, me understand. Yeah, it is. Like I said, it is so much fun playing her because you have to. I have to forget that I understand terminologies and slang and all that. So that for me. Uh, oh yeah, absolutely. Because she would question everything. But the good thing is though once it's explained once to her, she now knows that. So it doesn't have to be explained again. But she met a lady the other day that was out here herбing, same time she was, and the she always asks. She never like if she finds a berry bush that somebody's already at, she will ask if it's okay because she doesn't want to intrude. And there was a lady at a raspberry bush, uh, and she's like, "Hon, hello," and the lady's like, "Hey, how are you?" And their English was a little rough, and so she thinks like, is okay me pick bush too? And the lady was like, yeah, this is a raspberry bush, you can pick it, and was explaining the whole process, and she thinks like, me herbalist, me understand, is okay me pick too? And the lady's like, nope, and threw her hands up and walked away. And I was like, yeah, okay. So sometimes you'll meet people that don't want to interact with her because with her using broken English, if you're having trouble understanding English, then it can make for a very anxiety inducing type scenario. So, and of course, it's kind of an unspoken thing. If somebody throws their hands up and goes nope and walks away, you don't pursue them. You let that person go. Uh, but I just thought it was funny that the whole scenario was just like, nope, I can't do this. I'm like, okay, not a problem. I kept that to myself. I was like, yeah, we're gonna let that go because you definitely. Well, and see, I have to, when I'm playing shifting, I have to remember to be patient. Also, don't forget, because I am playing her in a specific way, so it might be hard for somebody to interact with her, just because of her being completely naive, still learning the settler language, and she's not as innocent as she used to be since she got robbed in Valentine. That taught her a valuable lesson. She got beat up and robbed in the gun store at Valentine. Of course, That was one of the few times when the law was literally standing on the porch of the sheriff's office. And as soon as she got beat up, they robbed her. The lawman come in, double barrel shotgun, took care of business, and gave her money back that she got robbed from. Made sure she was okay. Said, "Are you all right? Is everything okay?" So they robbed. They hit and robbed. They take 81 white man paper, and he didn't even hesitate. He's like, "I apologize that happened in this town. I wish I'd seen it before. Could have seen it before it happened. Here's your money back. Are you okay? Do you need me to call somebody, telegram somebody?" And it's like, me okay. Last tribe hurt more than that. And he thought, "I'm sorry to hear that. Here's, go ahead and let me take care of these people. If you need anything, the doctor's right." I mean, he explained everything in detail. Said, "And if you need anything, just come to the office and let me know." And I was like, "Aw." And then he proceeded to take the two guys and throw them in the jail cell. And he was not, I mean, he wasn't being rude, but he definitely let them know that they should not be picking on a little native girl like that. That was just wrong. And I was like, "Oh, that is so sweet." But then you have interactions like that where they, go very well. Then you have the two robbers that walked in while she was looking at the catalog, and everybody that plays DRB knows what I mean. She was in the catalog, asked her what she was doing, and I was like, of course, Shifting said she was buying arrows so she could go hunt some more, and then grabbed her and started beating her up, and then robbed her. So I was like, really? Well, I know. It, well, uh, there's more to that particular story um, that happened. Because since all of that has happened, um, I'm always going to be under the impression that there's three sides to every conversation, and the only way to make anything better is that the first two sides has to come together, and there has to be a give and take type thing done, and then that changes the third story. So since all of that has happened, and I'm only speaking about Creeper, of course. Creeper was, during that whole exchange, Creeper was charged with cannibalism and transporting of human meat. So Creeper, being having a different viewpoint than she used to, because Mumbles has actually asked her in a sit down with the family to kind of be the voice of reason for the family. She will never fill Centered's shoes, because Centered used to be the voice of reason and the one that talked would be like the negotiator. Well, that is kind of Creepers was asked to kind of try and do that. He must be doing the legendary hunt. So with that, she after she did her double sentence in Siska, because she her paperwork got lost while in Siska and had to serve a double sentence. Did not complain about it. She served it. She knew she did. She knew what she'd done was a chargeable offense as far as the charges, and there was a lot of charges. Kidnapping, attempted murder of a state official, brandishing, torture, intent to deceive. I can't remember them all, but that was the big ones. Oh, thank you, Rocket. Yeah, yeah. Definitely did a lot of work to my gaming room. A lot of settings have been changed. A lot of things have been improved, approved. Is that even a thing? Improved. Uh, to try and make it better. It's a learning experience for me. Um, but thank you. Yeah, it's up to my community to let me know how I sound and look, because I can't hear or see myself when I'm streaming. So thank y'all. But so Creeper, being the voice of reason, got out of Siska and arranged a meeting with Undersheriff Warren. Um, and because Charlotte Williams was at the scene and was the one that asked for the charges, she was basing her information off of what she was told. Now, of course, during that particular incident, there was 8, 9, 10 lawmen there, 2 doctors. The 2 doctors were the ones that were involved in the incident with Creeper, Notes, and Josiah. Uh, so during that whole thing, Creeper never got questioned. Of course, now Creeper was a sobbing, blobbering mess because of the way her rose came up. She fell apart at Notes getting injured. But she was never questioned. She was charged and shipped to Sisika. So instead of, I arranged a meeting with Undersheriff Warren. He agreed to meet with Creeper. We met in Rhodes. Undersheriff Williams was there too. And she rolled stay calm and logical, which was perfect. So through the entire discussion, Creeper is calm, logical, explaining exactly her situation. They went back and reviewed her charges, and Under Sheriff Williams even said, "Hey, I got there late. This is what I was told, so that was why the decision was based. No one was killed. It was attempted. Creeper did fire 2 shots from a shotgun, so completely irrelevant that she got attempted murder and attempted murder of a state official. But why were doctors brandishing weapons and shooting after they were warned not to come up the ladder? And they did, so they chose to enter that scenario. Hold on, let me finish. So all of this was being explained, and so after Creeper pleading her case, so to speak, and like I said, she was being logical and calm. The 2 doctors involved because of the vigilantism, because they did willingly climb up the ladder into the the doctors was a state official. But because they climbed the ladder and tried to enter the cabin, that became vigilantism, and that's why Creeper shot. So Creeper shooting at the doctor, which is against family rules, but at that point, it's vigilantism. So Creeper shot. Her shooting at the doctors by the family was, understandable, but it's still a chargeable offense. So I was like, okay, I accept that. The kidnapping, clearly, the kidnapping was a valid charge. Attempted murder, okay, that is valid also because when Creeper got shot, give me just a second. All right, sorry about that. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, you gotta remember, I grew up on the Addams Family, so yeah, gotta have it. But yeah, so yeah, kidnapping, 100%. Whenever they because you remember, a Creeper and Notes were in it together, so if one did something, the other one's an accessory. Um, so the attempted murder of Josiah, because there was a threat made at one point, even though it was retracted later, that threat was still made. Um, so that, okay, no, I understand that. Attempted murder of a state official, kidnapping. Brandishing weapons. I pulled out a double barrel shotgun and took pop shots at the doctor. So yeah, okay. Um, then the two that was controversial, that everybody had a problem with, um, including me. But once I stepped back, looked at the whole situation. Uh, in 1899, and even now, cannibalism itself uh, is defined as the consumption of human matter, whether consensual or not. There is no law against cannibalism per se. However, in order to obtain said human matter, there's several ways to go about it. Murder. There's also digging up graves. There is natural causes. There is accidental causes. So, but the moment you do that, if you was to cut a chunk off of a, yeah. As soon as the person hit the ladder, it was self defense. Um, but the pop shots afterwards, um, so I could have contested that, but I'm gonna let that go because that is petty in the grand scheme of the argument. The cannibalism was the big thing. And so Creeper stayed calm and used logic and explained the law, which I know I have ticketed for that law to be added and clarified in the law books going forward. So Creeper was using this moment, instead of getting defensive, used it as a moment for learning to better the county. And that was in character and out of character both. Hey, let's because if this happened with, hold on, it you're right, cannibalism's not, but let me explain. And this is why I'm working with the government to try and get it clarified better going forward, so that an incident like this doesn't happen again. Because if it's going to happen with Creeper and Notes and it doesn't get clarified, somebody else is going to make a use it. And I'm trying to work with the government and work in county. So, and Creeper was explaining this to Under Sheriff Warren, and she asked the question. She asked the question, and since Under Sheriff Williams was there and she was present, she was able to give her side. But Creeper said, "Well, did anybody consume any human meat during the process?" And they're like, "Well, no." They thought, "Well, it was spoken that a piece was cut off and fed to Josiah." I said, "Okay, so the only person in the scenario or in the situation that consumed any type of human stuff was Josiah, not Notes and Creeper." And they're like, "Well, yeah, that's right." And you could see that because I was staying calm and logical, we could all think clearly instead of having that adrenaline rush and become defensive. And she goes, "Okay, so we can't be charged with cannibalism or the trafficking of human meat, because in order for it to be trafficking, the person would have to be dead and chopped up." And they're like, "Yeah, that's correct too." I said, "And if you will think about it, Miss Williams, no one questioned me." Said the entire time that I stood there for 2 hours in handcuffs, no one ever asked me a single question. Said As a matter of fact, everybody knew my name, but nobody ever asked my name. Of course, everybody knows who I am, so I get that, but not even my name was asked. I was searched. My weapons were taken. I was left in handcuffs while my girlfriend, of course, that's the scenario, while my girlfriend lay there almost dying, and no one ever asked me anything. Y'all charged me, shipped me to Sisika. So how can any of these charges actually be valid if I was never even questioned to get my side of the story? So now, the kidnapping, the attempted murder, the brandishing, the attempted murder of a state official, said, I'll accept those. I'll fully admit that I was in on that. But these other charges, said, with no physical evidence and no proof, how can I be charged for it? And they're like, well, that's valid. I said, and for notes, that's valid too. So they took the charges off. Anything related to cannibalism got taken off because there was no physical proof or due process on that nature. So what I learned from that scenario, and I hope other people did, is that, we can be outlaws, criminals. right. You're takes my poop for people parts. Is that we're all here to have fun and play our various characters, but we also have to realize that it is a game, and adrenaline gets fueled into gaming a lot. Especially, I still get adrenaline rushes from the random ambushes, and I love that. But we also have to work together. Sometimes things ain't perfect. It's a learning process. What is that? Somebody out here hunting, and it's somebody's out here hunting, and their stuff's poofing on them. I hate it when it does that. But so they are working on that aspect of it, but the actual way the law can get you on cannibalism right now, and they can get you on it, because cannibalism is not against the law, even in the United States. There's no law against it. However, the way they can get you is the laws about abusing a corpse or abuse of a living person, or desecration of a corpse. And now those right now in the DRB are not clearly defined, so there is a loophole. But if the person's alive, and you cut a chunk of them off and eat it, that's abuse, and that is classified legally that way. So they can get you that. But now if it's already dead, they can't stick you with murder. Yeah, exactly. Alfred Packer, the cannibal, the Colorado cannibal, I believe. So, and the way the law is written is, even if it's consensual, you still can't do it. So that's kind of brass tacks as far as trying to say, oh, well, the law is not clearly defined for this or that. You've got to give a little, and when you do, the law will give a little. Exactly. And that's why Creeper, believe it or not, is is working with the government to help hopefully get that clearly more defined, so that way, if you want to play a cannibal character, you know exactly what the risks are, and the law, if they meet a cannibal character that they can prove is a cannibal, or they're caught them in the act or something, they know exactly how to charge that person. That way it avoids a scenario like we're having with it right now, especially since the family are all cannibals, except for one or two of them, and that's just a known thing. But if Creeper decided to ride around Blackwater with a dead body on her horse, which she has done, so Creeper is very much guilty of flaunting it. That comes with a consequence. So, but if they're doing their cannibal practices out of the public eye, they might meet some random person on the side of the road like the Skinner brothers do. Well, then you know for a fact, hey, if this don't go well, I'm dinner. Thought there was a bush. Yeah, there it is. I knew there's one more, and there's another raspberry out here somewhere. But that also brings about the particular diet that the family and other characters, not just the family, there's other cannibal groups in the county. Um, if they decide to share one of their meals with an outsider, and that outsider happens to be an undercover law officer who then takes it to a doctor who accurately can identify the particular kind of meat in it, well, then they can be arrested. So the whole sharing of meals that Notes and Cannibal Creeper have been known to do. There was a nice little meeting with Mumbles last night about things. And ooh, can I catch it? Oh, that rabbit's fast. Oh, come here. Come here. No, come here. Oh, so close. I'm gonna run out of stamina before I get to it. Yeah, okay. But I mean, that's just the way that I felt about that particular situation. Yeah, fully admit it got a little bit hot under the collar to start with because things went the way they did. But once you stop and step back, it's like, okay. So yeah, it didn't go nowhere near the way we wanted, but what can we do to improve it so that that doesn't happen again? And that's what Creeper's trying to do. And it just so happened she wrote that, stay calm and logical. If she hadn't have, it would have went completely different. In county. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but on that particular instance, of course, because that is currently being handled by the government, I won't make any comment on that particular situation, just the one that I directly was involved in. But yeah, I agree. I mean, I have nothing to say about it whatsoever, but yeah, I agree. Got you. To be a little bitty skinny little girl, she's pretty strong. Just rip the skin right off of it. Oh yeah, yes. And of course, like T-Man has said in his stream, a lot of the family is staff, and so they're held to a lot higher standard. And so, just running with Creeper running with the family and stuff. Of course, uh, she's going to be held to a higher standard, and so that's what I'm trying to show, that as a player community, we all have to work together and be understanding on some things. I stress the word some. I wonder if there's any buffalo. I know there's some horses over there. And see, that's my fourth character that I have. Um, I've actually seriously been toying around the idea of, because right now, she's not much. She's just my, when I want to be off doing something, character that nobody knows about. I've actually thought about using her as a way to, so you want to be an outlaw or you want to be a criminal, and the choices you can make of which direction you can go, kind of like a little tutorial type thing. But she also has a story. She has a full-fledged story. I've already written it out and been working on it. Buffalo. Been working on an intro for her and everything. Hey, September. Please don't disappear. Did you disappear? Nope. Dadgummit. I couldn't hit the broadside of a barn with a banjo. How many arrows I gotta put in these things? Why is she auto shooting? Got it. Got it. So she got both of them. Phew. That's a lot of stamina. Okay. You go that way. Oh yeah, that's my hog. That is pecked, or as shifting says, cheetah's name Pecked. Because she doesn't understand the word pecked. Well, that's just utterly ridiculous. She wasted a lot of arrows trying to get that. But yeah, I was going to use my fourth character as a kind of a tutorial on story building, RPing, things, all the stuff that comes from day one of a new character. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's remember, it's Chitta. Chitta. Yeah, Chitta means hawk. Dika, what you're thinking of, uh, but yeah, yeah, yeah. It's yeah, because the way she said, instead of saying pecked, she was saying, a hawk, a thick chica is named Pecked. And so yeah, Hicks and Ollie was like, dickhead? And like, no. Because about died laughing at that one. Yeah, and the funny thing was trying to teach you and Hex some of the words in Lakota, and then hearing y'all respond trying to say it, what had me cracking up, dying laughing. Oh, how many more arrows I got? Oh, I'm good. I got 26. No, she missed. She tried though. She tried. Yeah, yeah. Well, see, what's bad is like the interactions. If it'd been the same scenario, but with Creeper, we'd all been dying laughing. But with Shifting, she didn't get the jokes, so because she didn't understand. And of course, her still being young and naive, if when you did make a joke, she would question it to death, trying to understand it, which just ruined the whole joke anyway. I can do a very good deadpan when I want to. So as far as in character, just oh no, no, yours fine, yours fine. I did not see any of that as a fail RP. It was just completely hilarious. Because what I don't know if y'all noticed or not, that whole time y'all was trying to do that, Shifting on the other side was just steadily spitting out knowledge about things and was killing, was completely switching the vibe of it. So everything y'all did was trying to make me crack up. And everything Shifting said was like, really bright knowledge. So it was a constant switch. Oh yeah, I forgot Possums Play Dead. No, you are dead. Yeah, and I mean, I love playing her because she is so different than Creeper. And like I said, anyone that knows my voice because it's so distinctive knows that I play Shifting and I play Creeper. But me no understand settler humor is very dry sometimes. Oh, I just scared the crap out of that red fox. See, there's actually a lot of things that I would love for shifting to be able to do, um, but she can't yet because no one's taught them to her. So if she learned anything from you and Hex, it was definitely settler humor, and she may have to work that into some conversations sometimes. But she also the couple of people from Cattail Pond that gave her her cheetah um, tried to teach her how to lie. Their very first time they ever met her, and she's not really good at it because they explain lying as you're not. It's not lying. You just don't have to tell them the whole truth. Um, and she doesn't know how to do that because like people ask her, you know, what happened to her other tribe, and she'll tell them that um my tribe they want me spirit journey alone for a long time. So that's how she tries to explain being banished, and eventually she just gives up and says exactly what happened. So she couldn't lie if she tried. So if she was to try to use some of the humor that she's been told, uh, she would not hesitate to say who told it to her. So yeah, that could be dangerous. Just like the day in Valentine when she kept going around using the S word to describe everything she saw, because it's the only like adjective that she had learned. So how was your day? My day was S-H-I-T. My day was S. Oh, okay. Is that your horse? Yes, horse is run with wind. He is very S. Because she wouldn't know that it was, she didn't really understand that it was a bad word. All right, and we are going to now start making our way back home. Yeah, so that's how far away from home she goes to feel safe while gathering herbs. Because she lives here with the Miwok tribe, and she rides all the way over to Emerald to do her hunting, herbing, and hawking, which I think will be her new catchphrase for when she's awake. It's another Triple H day. Okay, we're gonna let our bird go home. Sure. Anything around here? No. Okay, but before we do, we have got to take some of this weight out of this poor horse. So 508 red raspberries for the day. And 7 black squirrels total. Milkweed. Somehow I got chain pickerel. But I know it's causing all the weight. It's all these hides. And yes, she does still have the original Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? The original fish sandwich that Jonathan Cooper gave to her on her, what, third day in county? She refuses to eat that sandwich. That is her sacred fish sandwich. Because that was the first food gift she was ever given. So it's sacred. It's probably green and probably could walk around by itself by now, but she's going to keep it anyway. Definitely a lot of meat. Oh, there's some more. Some ginseng. And of course, gotta have her peyote. Oh, it's probably way beyond stinky by now. I wouldn't doubt it if that sandwich could get up and walk by itself. So yeah, that sandwich is what, a good month and a half, 2 months old? But it is a sacred fish sandwich. Yeah, now of course, with me playing shifting the way that I play her, um, and not having a care for money, it does make it a lot easier. Because as long as she's got money to buy arrows, or if she ever learns how to make the arrows herself, then that'll make it a lot easier. Um, and then of course, the monthly upkeep, because she has 2 horses, and her little camp spot there at the with the Miwok tribe. And like I said, of course, she never uses guns. It's only a bow, lasso, and a knife. She does have throwing knives and throwing hatchets, but uh, I don't feel like trying to find them and buy more because I'd lose a lot. So whether that's one thing I love about DRB, and technically it's not just DRB, any of the servers, any roleplay server, um, your character that you come up with, the life they have, the job, all of that is completely up to you. Um, you can have a character like Shifting here. It's super casual, super relaxed, super easy to play. Um, and because of the way I play her being a herbalist and a hunter, um, she doesn't have a lot of interactions with people. If I want to go into town and interact, I can. If I don't, I stay out in the wilds like she does. And if somebody happens to come along her path, we RP. If not, I go about just having fun. Just playing the game, so to speak. Um, then there's characters like Creeper that is involved in a lot of stuff. There is so many story arcs that she's a part of. It is hard to keep up with sometimes. And she's a very vocal and outspoken character, so she's going to draw attention. And depending on the dice roll, one of her dice rolls is walk up to a random person and start talking. And that's how she meets people. And of course, all of her different choices are based on her schizophrenia that she has. So you never know really which one of her you're talking to. And they all get along, though, don't worry. Except for that one girl. But so sometimes, like one of her dice rolls is stand there and be silent. So she may be carrying on a conversation with somebody and they say something that involves a question or a decision. I roll and it says stand there and be quiet. So she just stands there, doesn't say a word. And that can actually be more awkward than some of the other stuff she says, because when she said it, you're like, so what do you think about it, Creeper? Are you gonna answer? Okay, because now she's not saying anything. So the person that was just making all this weird conversation just shut up for no reason. And of course, now a little shifting has. Whoa! Yeah, it was almost bad. Did not look. But yeah, she's been down to 2 roads before, so she knows this path right here. Yeah, she calls roads 2 roads. Um, Saint Denis is Saint Denis. Of course, then there's Valentine. She knows that one. She's been through Strawberry once. She, of course, her boat landed in Blackwater. Oh, caravan. Let's hopefully she doesn't get ambushed crossing the river right here. Yeah, but I've got to take her back home so that I've got time to rest my voice before Creeper's reading tonight. Because Creeper will be doing her reading 1 hour before storm at the Blackwater racetrack. And she really needs to get home now because it started raining. Well, it's coming a good storm too. Yes, yes, yes. Creeper will be doing her reading. And now that Creeper is affiliate over there, uh, like I said, I am gonna be streaming her live, parts of it. Um, but of course, I was waiting to get all the affiliate stuff and all that, everything done. And she's been mining the last few days, kind of laying low because of the whole law thing. But now that that's worked out, she can come out of hiding. I didn't think anybody wanted to see Creeper standing in one place for 4 hours just mining. That would not be that exciting. Yeah, and I'm not entirely sure which story she's going to read tonight. I haven't decided yet. I usually actually wait till the last minute and then pick a story, and then just read it. And of course, Creeper always tells everybody that she went to Oxford. So everybody thinks of Oxford College, and that's not the case. Creeper went to a little school in Oxford, Missouri. So she just lets people believe whatever they want to. And she purposely mispronounces things, which makes it just all that much more funny when I do it. For me, so that's why I do it, because she tells everybody, she says, I went to Oxford, Missouri, and that's the gist of the joke. She went to Oxford, Missouri to school, not to Oxford College. Yeah, and if you ever talk to Creeper, sometimes she'll go to pronounce a specific word and she can't pronounce it, so she just says another word that has the same meaning. That's exactly why. She has no idea what the word means. Riding through the woods on a foggy night, not creepy at all. Completely natural. I actually didn't hear the wolves howling. And now the shifting has made it back home. Which one? A good start and a good end to a good day. Of course, we gotta pick our ginseng and cannabis. Can't go home. Can't leave home without it. Now, one of the next things she's going to have to learn, and hopefully she'll come across somebody that'll teach her, is how to buy a wagon. And once she learns that, then she'll have a place to store all of her stuff. But that'll also, by doing that though, that'll put her, because she knows about Dewberry Creek. So whenever she's hunting and herbing at Emerald, she can ride over to Dewberry, have the owner there put her stuff into her wagon for her, and she's got storage. And that way it'll be close to where she herbs and hunts at. So if somebody ever needs anything, just ride over to Dewberry. She can make her sell, and go from there. Because eventually her horse is going to get tired of her stuffing everything into her saddlebags. That might not be a good thing. But yeah, this is her little teepee, her wigwam, as it were. Takes a minute. Can she get in there? Come on. Yeah, there she goes. She's got her nice little bedroll. She's got her a little log fire. So she has everything she needs. Now she does have aspirations of upgrading her her bed to the native bed, like you saw outside by the tanning rack, and a few other little amenities. But other than that, she's got everything she needs. But I hope everybody had a great day today. I hope everybody enjoyed the stream. I know it was fun. There she goes. There she goes. And we will be back. We're actually going to be back tomorrow. Shifting will be awake again tomorrow. But now remember, starting tomorrow, her life is going to be over on Twitch. So make sure, if you're on Twitch, look up Ainurauco. Same spelling as over here. That way you can catch it over there. Aw, thank you. Because all my live streams are going to be from Twitch. All my videos are going to be on YouTube. White Hair Investigations is still up and going. I've just got to finish more videos. It's very hard to balance between live streaming, videoing, and role playing. It's in real life, because I do volunteer work at a local shelter, so I spend a lot of time there, and I'm about to die. But everybody have a great day. And don't forget to check out my mystery videos here on YouTube for White Hair Investigations, where I investigate all the mysteries of Red Dead using a theological, real-world logical type of investigating. It's very interesting. And it's just a point of view. Doesn't mean it's right, doesn't mean it's wrong, it's just my point of view. And always remember, be careful when you're chasing rabbits, okay? Because they have really small rabbit holes. We have really big heads. You'll get stuck if you go in there. Send in a fox or a terrier or something. Use some logic. And as always, bye-bye.